Alright, welcome back everybody. You can see I skipped over an episode here, and you want to know why that is? I skipped over it because, as you saw, what ended up happening, is I was playing the game, and I was going home on the weekends and playing an alternate save, and then I saved over top of it.
Well,
So I had to go back to my backup save, and when I did that, I just did the whole Hanging Gardens from the ground up.
A useful skill for cowards.
But I thought I had this previous level recorded, and I didn't.
You'll regret those words.
A knight knows how to pick his battles. So I'm just going to run away here real quick.
Easy, Martin. Go to Barbers. Leave this one to me.
I'm not...
Fortunate for you, boy.
I know what they're trying to do, but in the same regard, I don't know what the end goal here is. I think based on the way that the characters are talking, they're going to use the Zenobian sword to unlock a seal, which should allow them to gain power. That's my understanding of this. But when they unlock the seal, the devil power isn't going to be theirs. Something else pops out of that seal. And I think they're aware of it. And in the same regard, I don't think they're at all aware of what's behind the seal. I think they think the infinite power is behind the seal. At the same time, I think they knew exactly what was behind the seal, and they intended to wake it up. But that's more speculation on my part. Oh, also, I was talking in a previous episode about, like, narrow walkways and not feeling very safe. This is a very good example of not feeling very safe. Anyone that is in the same line as Denim is right now can get knocked off by a very powerful crit spell. So unlikely that all three of those characters get knocked off in one hit. However, there is a possibility, if the spell is large enough and strong enough, that they could get pushed off either individually or collectively off that left side, which would be terrible. So you're probably going to see me play a little bit cautiously, so I'm not, as the golems and dragons begin to move into my area, we are not putting any characters where Denim currently is. So thumbs up. Another thing I haven't really mentioned much in this game, because it doesn't really pop up too much in the neutral playthrough. Because I think the lawful playthrough is supposed to be the canon one, or it's the one where most of your, I wouldn't say all of your main characters, but some of your more important main characters that get like epilogue stories, they all seem to pop up in the lawful playthrough. But to get to my point, one of the things I don't generally talk about, at least I haven't talked about in this game anyways, is the shipping element of this. The, OTPs, the, who belongs with who sort of thing. And I was poking around a wiki because you can play this game without consulting the wiki at all, but like there's a lot of speculation if you don't. Like, for instance, one of the things you may notice is, I don't know if we'll see it all that much, but the mages in this game, I have access to each one of the elemental level 3 spells, including Cashua, who has Judgment 3, okay, which is the widest AoE spell that I've run across anyways, in the game. Now, if you pay attention, you look at when my one shaman there next to my berserker goes to cast spells, you'll notice he does not have the level 3 meteor strike ability, and that is because I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the dungeon, that dark dungeon I keep talking about, the Death Palace or whatever, however it's referred. Also, I'm not doing a very good job here, by the way. I'm just going to stop my little side rant for a second so I can talk about how I didn't do a very good job pushing my characters. So now we're all sort of bottleneck clogged here. I would have liked to have them pushed a little bit farther than they are. But yeah, not much I can do about that, I suppose. But ooh, all right. That's a strong whiskey. Oh boy. I know I've said this about alcohols before. You go into a liquor store and you find a bottle. I'll give you just as an example. You go to a liquor store and you buy a red label Stolichnaya, which is vodka. I believe it comes in 80 proof. Okay. And there's also a blue label, provided they sell it wherever you are. I assume they sell it everywhere, but I don't know if certain states have restriction on proof, how much proof a thing can be. But there's a blue label Stolichnaya that is 100 proof. That's how you determine the difference between the 80 proof and the 100 proof. Now, 100 proof, obviously, a little more money. Also harder to find. There's less bottles, at least for in the liquor stores I go to. Because not as many people want 100 proof. You know, the difference between the 80 proof and the 100 proof is about, I think it's less than a quarter cup of water. Seems really nuts to me. That a bottle, you know, a regular sized bottle, the difference is a small amount of water. Like, I don't want to say a shot glass amount of water. More than that, I think, but it's less than a quarter cup. And it's just like, okay, you're telling me I could pay, if I wanted the 80 proof and I bought the 100 proof, all I'd have to do is add a little bit of water and spend extra money for some reason. Anyways, so one of the things in this game that I accidentally discovered is there are certain pairings, if you will, that are canon in the storyline, provided the characters survive. There's a, I think her name is Ozma. She's only recruitable in the Law playthrough. She has a character that she's sort of like romantically involved with. Unfortunately, he's unlockable in I think all of the playthroughs, so you can, he's a blind swordsman. I think his name is Hoblin something. I missed recruiting him because I didn't realize a side quest that I didn't realize that I was progressing the main storyline at the point, and I missed out on 3 characters. It was a mage, there was a wizard, a Valkyrie, and there was another one. There was another character. It might have been a knight. They had better stats than like your normal recruits would, but they didn't have like unique portraits that really makes them stand out. Anyways, the point of that is you can get that character, I think, in any of the 3 playthroughs. They're just different ways you run into that character. And he is romantically involved with the Dark Knight Ozma. There's, brother-sister duo, that Oz and Ozma. You can only recruit her when you have Hobbim in your party, and he's only recruitable under the Law playthrough because the storyline changes a little bit depending on what you pick, and I'll talk about that maybe when we get to the Chaos playthrough, or the Chaos part of the playthrough. I'm doing super great here. Let's see here. It's 1 down character so far. That's not too bad, but you can see I'm all clogged up right now between 2 dragons and 2 golems, who I wish I could put an end to really quickly, but I think I'll focus down on killing the boss and just be done with this level. Interestingly, and getting to the point of my story, I've spent half this fucking episode tangenting. One of the 4 sisters, you get in every playthrough. Okay, she's the one that I turned into a shaman, water shaman. Okay, I don't remember her name right off the top of my head. Livy, I think. She is the sister. You are guaranteed to get her in every playthrough, because in every playthrough you end up meeting your father, the Abuna father. So they all sort of coalesce there in one way or another, and so she's recruitable in all 3 playthroughs. Unlike her sisters, who are dependent on a number of different things, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, her. The one that just passed out there. That's who I'm talking about. So she's apparently the romantic love interest for Denim. Not that the game's really ever kind of filled that in, to my knowledge. But because she is the only sister that's guaranteed in all the playthroughs, you can't be like, well, he fell in love with this one, or he fell in love with that one, And I could understand, much like Ozma and Hobrim, or however you pronounce the guy's name, you would not get that ending if you weren't on a particular playthrough, but because she's available in all of them, as long as she survives, she always appears at the end of each thing. Of course, I suppose if you end up with the non-princess, and if you end up with one of the endings that's not the princess ending, I guess I'm not 100% sure what would happen there, particularly if Denim gets stabbed at the end of the bad ending. Blood spray. It's such an excellent attack. You can line it up. In fact, one-handed swords are so fucking great. If you can get them to, you know, if you can build the right character, they're so great. They have two of the most devastating finishers in the game, which is the first and, well, I guess they have, like, technically they have three, depending on what type of character you're running. They have the attack that attacks twice. So you look at the number and you see, okay, I'll do 100 damage or 200 damage. You multiply that by 2, that's how much damage it's actually going to do. That cherry round thing, you can line up 4 characters or 3, well, usually 3 characters. You're not going to just pop your ass in the middle of 4 characters. But you get 3 characters lined up around you in a you know, formation. You can fucking deal big damage that way as well. The one place that they don't excel is the range portion of this. Obviously, you have, you know, bow and arrow, crossbow, useful. All of those are ranged weapons, so it's not surprising that those would also be ranged finishers. But your katanas and your daggers both have ranged options for their some of their finishers, and it's kind of interesting. Like the first 2 finishers that your ninja can get are ranged options, and then they give you close-up options as you unlock level 3 and 4. And then these guys are sort of the in-betweeners, where they have the ability to do, you know, their normal pole range, which is 2 spaces, but they also have the ability to do that, which is can only be done directly next to the enemy. And then of course they've got you know, one of them AoE cross items, you know, level 2 magic that does thunder, which actually is thunder element. And then they also have that last finisher, which operates at a length of, I think, 4? Is it 3 or 4? It's either 3/4 or it's 4/5 spaces away from them in any cardinal direction. And it hits 3 times, which is freaking ridiculous. That's excellent damage, but that's partly due to the fact that he's got fear and, is it just fear? I don't know. That's so devastating. I'd love to, like, I'm sure the game won't let you do this, but I'd love to, like, walk up to the, you know, where the golem is, and use a shield bash and bump him off the edge. And just be like, well, no cutscene for you. No dying words from this guy. Ugh. Meditate. Some big damage, but it also does big damage to me. That one's better, but it only hits 3 enemies, I'm sorry, and one of my guys. We're gonna hit more guys and hit more enemies. Oh, he's right there. He's got a sliver of health left. Am I actually going to kill him off with someone embarrassing? No. Mirjin's not embarrassing. I was gonna say, am I gonna kill this off with like a priest? Oh yeah, you're dead. I like how all the enemies and characters just turn towards the dying
Where's
character.
Barbas? Martin, where have they gone?
Where have they gone?
To Dorgala's tomb. Both of them are there.
Ogala, that's the king's
tomb.
name.
Where?
Former king.
Tell me.
The tomb.
Beneath the gardens.
The gardens. This tower is his tomb marker.
But you're too late.
Barbas is opening the seal.
Even now.
Even now.
But he can't open it without Koshua.
No. He has the Zenobian blade.
Then I haven't much time.
Wait, Denon. Listen. The Nildam perished. Like these islands, our people failed to join as one. It is only a matter of time before Lodis invades. You must make Valeria strong. Like a rock.
So that's why the Kashua princess ending is the most important one, because it gives not only legitimacy through blood, but also she's a uniting force on her own. Whereas Denham's also a uniting force, but he doesn't have the blood. Whatever.